Hi, it's Captain Raw, and you know my program's about health, but a lot of things that I haven't really covered, and I've mainly just covered just making a juice and making a salad and so on. But to talk about mental health and what causes mental health problems in Australia, and why there's been a lot of men's suicide in Australia, is because of relationships, right? And the relationships that the men have been in, and what the relationships that people offer here in Australia at times is a relationship based on neglect. And it's all I worked it out because somebody blocked me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Facebook, and all that sort of stuff. And somebody else has a friend with, and even my own daughter has blocked me on Instagram and Facebook. So it's sort of something that's been a weird pattern, because the people I've been around have been a bit neglectful, and that's what they think is a reasonable friendship or relationship. They neglect people, and that's what my daughter's done to me as well. She's neglected me, and it's why she's done it is because she was in a foster homes when she was younger, because her mum put her there because of her problems. And basically that's what happens in modern relationships with men and women in Australia, is they get ignored, is the word, because when you ignore someone on Facebook or you delete them, when you block someone on Facebook or Instagram, what you're doing is you're ignoring them, right? So I looked up the word ignore as to how it fits in. What's the word ignore mean? And a synonym for ignore is neglect. And I thought, well, that's exactly what people are doing when they ignore you on Facebook or ignore you on Instagram or block you and all that sort of stuff. And that's one of the main causes of men's suicide in Australia, is this neglect. So neglect can happen in a relationship when it's gone sour, and neglect can also happen in a relationship which somebody thinks is a great relationship. So, for example, if somebody serves up dinner and they've worked really hard at dinner, and I've learnt this through my studies and through my chance of meeting good health professionals, so like through YouTube, and how peaceful they try to eat and how peaceful how they try to live. So they don't want any conflict. Got to meet one of the greatest health promoters of all time, Dan McDonald, and he doesn't even want to talk sometimes. He just wants to relax. It's like he said to me that when he goes out with some of his buddies, they just don't even talk at all. They just sit there. And I understand why, because you're trying to get as much peace as you can. So when you have a coconut water, you want to just sit there and relax, not even think about anything negative, just really get the most benefits out of that coconut or that piece of fruit or whatever. And I've really tried to copy that strategy that I've seen others do, Dan in particular, but there's been others that really savor the moment. And you watch them on YouTube, they sometimes really relax and have that juice or smoothie or a sia, a K-berry, or whatever they call it, smoothie thing, breakfast bowl. But anyway, I've had some relationships. When I was in Sweden, I had a beautiful relationship with a lady that would make me fruit salad in the mornings. She'd make me a beautiful fruit salad and had walnuts on top, and it was just laid out. And she would say, let's take our walk, and when we come back I'll make you a fruit salad. And then she would make it. She'd make both of us one, and then she'd grab my morning tea for me, which was fruit, apples and bananas and all that sort of stuff. And it was a really peaceful moment. You know what, I got so fit, so healthy, that it was just incredible. I was 80 kilos, just super fit, super healthy, could run through the snow to my jobs and so on and so forth. But then I've had other relationships where the women make the food, right? And it's not about women making food or men. Does it? Whoever makes it. I've made food for women. They've made food for me. But I think of some occasions, and you've all would have experienced one of this in life, where someone makes you the food, and then they come around tantruming because they say, "Oh, I slaved in the kitchen to make you this. I bloody slaved in the kitchen," and then they start banging and crushing the plates and slamming the doors and even cleaning up before you've eaten, which is, I think, is very weird. Like, unless you're cleaning as you go and it's the last pot, the spaghetti on it, you don't need to be cleaning before you've finished eating and have that stress. I've got to clean as I go. No, you don't have to clean as you go. You can clean afterwards. But anyway, so they bang and crash and they serve up this food, and basically at the end of the day, what they're offering you is they think they're giving you this food of amazing health and nutrition and love and all this sort of stuff, but they've actually just fed you a bowl of neglect because they've yelled at you just before you've eaten and frightened you with their mannerisms or something, and then you eat this food. So yeah, that's what happens in Australian things. They want to spend a lot of time neglecting you, and that's one of the main reasons for mass suicide in Australia. It is the neglect. So let's say you've broken up with someone, and then they start arguing about who's going to have the kids and start demanding more than what they really need, and the guy just says, "Well, what sort of relationship was I in?" You know what I mean? Because it's just finished with all this neglect. So why would I be? Then you have perhaps a memory, like that fond memory of that relationship is just really spoilt by the neglect offered at the end, and the guys might go around that in circles until they eventually suicide. And thankfully I don't actually have suicidal thoughts like some people. When I've been neglected, I'm kind of used to it. So, but I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is some very good relationships out there, and you can find one. And even if you just savor simple moments. So, say with that ex that I had years ago, I've just grown this beard, so I'm looking in there. With the ex that I had that was making the fruit salads and everything, we did end up relationship extremely on a weird situation. Her friend was doing whatever she could to break us up because she wanted to utilize her beauty for her own gain by meeting guys and stuff and getting shouted things that she wouldn't normally get because she was a chubby little dwarf-like thing that was actually a really cold, mean person, and she just made up fake stories about me, and you know, that ended up breaking that relationship up. But you have to appreciate the moments that you're together and you have those peaceful moments, because most relationships nowadays will end up over. So you actually have to, particularly if you're in Sweden, because they only have a relationship for about 6 months usually. So that relationship's doomed to fail while you're in the middle of it. There's a guy and a girl walking past as a couple. It'd be funny to example. That relationship is doomed to fail. And yeah, so it's on the way out. So the basic thing is I don't want to wish it upon them or those two there, but the reality is it's on the way out. So you actually have to just appreciate the moment. So this dude over here, for example, he might just be appreciating that he's having a peaceful moment at the beach today, because in a few months that could be a real situation where that woman just goes absolutely bananas over something, and all of a sudden he's blocked on Facebook and Instagram with the neglect that they want to offer. And yeah, just you're not alone out there with that neglect, but you doesn't mean you've got to like that song by Silverchair just because they abuse you more. You don't have to like it. You just have to go, well, okay, I've seen that situation and it's not really for me, and see what changes you can make next time. But a very good tip that is to listen to what the woman says when you first meet them, because they will tell you everything, or man or woman will tell you everything that they're thinking in the first few minutes, and if you're not careful, you might miss something that they've said. So, for example, you might be at the university and you've got a crush on your teacher, right? I've had a crush on my teacher at university, so I'll use that as an example. And then she says, when you're alone with her, she says, "Oh, I'd love to date a student, but it's hard because I'm thinking of going to live in England to be a teacher over there, and I don't know if anyone would want to go with me to England." And you just overlook all that and go, "Oh, she's beautiful. She wants to date a student. I love her or like her. Got a crush on her. She wants to date a student. I think she'd go out with me." And you forget that she said that she wants to go live in England. Okay, and your goal might be to live where you live, Melbourne, Sydney, Sunshine Coast, wherever. And all of a sudden you're dating her for 6 months and then she says, "Well, I'm off to England." And you might say, "Oh God, I don't remember you saying that." And then you go, "Hold on, I do remember." And she's booked that flight, she's ready to go. So anyway, listen to what the women or man say if you're going to ask them out. And also look out for the signs of neglect, because they're out there, and enjoy those moments when you have the peace, because you will get on a bit of it. Look at this one. They're already on the rocks, these two. Anyway, yeah, so just think about that, guys. And yeah, I don't normally do those bits where I film other people, but I thought it was quite funny to do this time. So if I get sued, I guess that I get sued. Have a great day. Bye.